6 idiots with brightly colored clothing.
Oh, we're the sexy hot supermodels and spikes.
The attractive couple who run the Leather Daddy bar get to sit here now. How's it going, people? Well, I'll say this, everyone who's here does not give a shit about the white dragon.
Yes, that's right. There's a white dragon panel. There's one in the back. Oh God, it's right.
I need to get my Kickstarter perk.
So how many folks are local to Los Angeles?
Anybody?
The guy in the back just had us local to Los Angeles. You like 2 football teams, and that's not good enough for you.
I live in East LA, and it was about a 18-minute drive over here for me, which is pretty rare.
I live in East Stroudsburg, Pennsylvania, which is an 18-day drive. We used to live in Chicago, and my wife and I were talking about all the great things about our neighborhood. Now, don't get me wrong, I actually love the city of Chicago. We were just outside of city limits, but when we were talking about the great things about it, my wife would say, but it's only 15 minutes to the airport. I said, you realize you just said the best thing about where we live is that we're close to being able to escape. So there it is.
You look like you own a pet rescue in Montana.
Montana?
Montana.
You making fun of my hair?
I am.
See, this is what I have to deal with. I try to look beautiful for you.
Hang up, man. I think I'm going as Avatar the Last Airbender for Halloween this year. The only problem is there's no head paint that won't sweat off. I've researched this. Like, and if you do the latex stuff, it won't sweat off. It'll just slowly slide down your face until it's like pointing, you know,
Where?
to the nether region.
That's Netherbender.
Where all the jokes are blue.
That's funny, dude. That is
Well, we thank you for joining the Vulcan Skull panel, which it was erroneously titled No Pie. We're actually calling it What Would Vulcan Skull Do? We wanted to pose a few questions here. We wanted to ask you guys, what would Vulcan Skull do?
With what, Polly?
Vulcan Skull find a giant purse on the sidewalk.
Vulcan Skull will give it back after rifling through it and taking what is good. Oh, Jesus!
Yeah, we're in the same room. We don't need that shit. Hey, if we're this cool, too bad I'm not doing it. You might want to just turn it on and have it down here like this. Okay. Hello. CIA.
So we invite you to throw any social scenario around.
I think you all know what Vulcan Skull would do generally.
So this is a very short panel. What would Vulcan Skull do?
So sadly, as always, the day we come invested. Well, wearing vests. Anyone else wearing a vest today? Yeah? Hey, you're invested.
There you go.
Come and visit us. This is the table. We'll give you a present for being invested, or invested Saturday.
What are we going to give him?
It's going to be a picture of me.
So sorry. We actually had talked about at one point, you know, people keep asking about Vulcan Skull spin-off, which never quite happened, but we talked about all kinds of show ideas down the years. One of them we have is called Best Intentions, where Paul and Jason and Vulcan Skull as characters run a school for puppets and give advice to these puppets with the best of intentions, which always ruin their lives. Which I think is good. You know, so that's why we thought we'd come here today and see what you wanted to talk about and how we could ruin your lives.
Well, we thought the show idea would be funny with real people, but then we were like, okay, ruining real people's lives. That's maybe not the best premise for a show, but puppets!
Puppets!
You know, the AI is becoming sentient, but the puppet lobby has not grown to its full power yet. Thank God.
Not since they took down Jim Henson.
No!
Yeah, that's what happened. That's what happened. He was too powerful with the puppet lobby.
Wow, it was
so far.
We've been together a long time, you guys. It's okay if you just want to stare at each other. So you just like
Just
stare
sit
at
comfortably in silence and enjoy his silence. You know, an uncomfortable silence like in Pulp Fiction.
Who has a baby?
Yes, I saw it. Any reproductive questions that you have? Yes.
How was it when you guys first met?
What?
How was it when you guys first met?
That wasn't terrible. Next question.
Well, when I first saw him, I thought, wow, he's funny looking.
When I first saw him, I thought, what a... Are there children in the room? What an expletive. It was funny because Paul was in this Bulk costume, and I didn't realize it. And so he looked like a... Well, we're both this, okay? We'll call him a bulk hole. By the way, my son's name was Jack, and the other day he said to me, how would you like it if I always called you a Jason hole? Anyhow, so he looked like a jerk. And then, so I met Paul the first time when I called that, okay? He was on the set, he was in costume, he was in character. He was on the other side of the room. I don't know why they did it this way, but they did this. They're like, okay, Jason, I'm gonna go get Paul. You stay here and I'll introduce you.
What about that part?
And Paul comes all the way over. I'm like, here comes the a-hole. Here comes the a-hole. I was like, I want to leave now.
The thigh walk is, you're just not going to save yourself from the chub rub, so just let it jiggle and walk normally.
Okay, so.
That's my motto.
Whole shot. So, yeah, no, I didn't follow you after getting there, and then it's a true story. Like, after seeing this, like, Jack hole come right in, sorry, Jack, coming at me, he goes, hi, I'm Paul. And he slaps these giant hands in my hand, but in the kindest way possible. He told me everything I needed to know about Paul Schreier. He looks intimidating, but he's a sweetheart inside, you know? And literally, he pretty much first thing this son of a hi children said was, let's get to work.
Hello, children.
Hello, children.
Hi, Jack!
And I thought he had a funny mug, which was a great start for the characters.
This is my mug. Yeah.
I mean, his mug was hilarious. It was a Garfield.
No. I saw a mug once that had President James A. Garfield on it, and it said, I hate Mondays. That's funny.
Oh, very good. Odie. That's good. All right.
Next!
Any questions? How about you, bud?
Before that, Jack, you found out. Jack, you found in Togo, you were replaced by monkeys, and then in the comics, how about you guys actually comics?
How would you feel? We hated the monkeys, but we were glad that they were there because these two monkeys were working on a spin-off. So they had to turn us into something.
Yeah, they were in development for a possible spin-off for us for the local skull show. I loved the monkeys because the monkeys had voices. Them's were us's. Still got paid. And I was directing episodes at that time, so I got paid twice. And then when my second check came, I just made sure I took it in front of Darby's face. Yeah. Everyone's a director. It's the truth. You know it's true, pal.
Next! Oh, there was you had your hand up earlier, so I'll hit you up. Mike!
So, I was wondering what was like after, Jason, when you left the show, and now you, walking around the solo, what was that?
Totally sucked. Totally sucked. So, I mean, Darby really needed to go to college. You know, it's that time in your life. You wait too long, life is going to suck you up into the alien ship, and then you're done. You know, kids, and then, it's just everything. So, he warned me for 2 years. Like, I swear to
thought we would blow the jackpot. I mean, $500 a week, that's $2,000 a month.
381 after taxes.
But who's counting? And Richard Janelle was making $550 a week.
Yeah.
$50 more.
Well, they thought that Ernie was going to be a much more prominent character because of his geographic central location in the juice bar, where there was going to be a lot of traffic. They figured they could use him more. And after they got a load of this, they were like, oh yeah,
about, like, we did a panel a few years ago, an acting panel, and Walt broke into our panel and started improvising with us, and the laugh came out. But now I can't do it unless it's in context, and even then, my vocal cords are destroyed. But roles that we auditioned for, I have done a character called Billy. When they were doing the pilot, which they had called Phantoms at the time. You know, you need a nerd, but it wasn't even a scripted audition. Literally, they're just looking for a look. And I don't know how you go from like a nerd look like mine to like chiseled, good looking 90210 like Cable Mills.
You know, because pretty people always come out on top. Isn't that what we've been taught in media?
Yeah, exactly. Take that, pretty. Anyone in here that considers themselves beautiful?
Sorry.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Oh. So, yeah, but you were always going to be both. I mean,
That's correct. Well, I was punk 2 or 5 or whatever in that promo pilot with big hair at the bowling alley, and then they thought, okay, yeah, we can do something with this. So.
well, they needed, you know, big guys that could do stunts. Well, they had done that. Double. Lee.
Yes, I was Louis Anderson's stunt double. Ooh. Kind of interesting. Yeah. So many ways.
So there you go.
How about you, sir?
Fight!
You go first. I'm the fat guy. I'm my way.
You guys have done a lot of sampling, right? A lot of bumping into walls or trash cans. What scene would you hate the most and what scene do you love?
What I hate.
Well, I remember we really hated, there's been a few things that we, there's a lot of people.
But for me, my most hated scene is we are diving in a lake and we get covered in mud.
Oh.
Except it was shot at like 5 o'clock in the morning at winter time at Kennethon Park in downtown LA. So A, nasty.
Yeah.
B, cold as hell. And the wetsuit they gave me was not quite the right size, so I had to squeeze my fat ass into the wetsuit. As a fat man, when you're in a wetsuit, like basically a sausage, like the moment you relax, your body just does this. And you can fight your way into a position and do stuff, and they're like, cut! I'm like, and Darby had freaking pneumonia.
Oh, that's
and we were still, and it was so early in the show that it didn't matter if we were dying. It was TV, you had to go.
Yeah. Well, for the record, even later in the season, later in the show, I remember us being sick and still had to shoot. We did not, like, a day off was not an option. Ever.
No sick time.
No sick time. That's kind of one of the reasons why I went to school. I was going to take night school. And I'm like, sometimes I may have to leave early. They're like, oh, you're good on the way. I'm like, okay.
And meanwhile, I'm like, please don't quit, please don't quit. Please don't quit.
I seem to recall we hated, was it the statues that we did? There's something about the paint.
Painted gray.
We were painted gray. We hated that because they painted us gray at 6 a.m. and they actually shot the scene at like 6 p.m. Like, don't touch yourself.
Yeah. Sit in your dressing room like this. There's a lot of stuff that we love. We love Wild West Rangers. I love Penguin Eye Bull. I don't think you can get away with that gag these days, right? Or him with the tuberculosis. Who's clearly dying. Yeah. You're like, Skullvitz is dying. Don't worry. They're gonna go back forward and cut those guys on. They're fine.
You know, they also loved to dress us as women because we hated it.
That's not true. I did not hate it. I did not hate it. Really? Listen. You know how hard it is to find a set of Tripoli white pumps? I do. Because they made me go buy my own shoes. Because they were new shoes and it was like for a normal girl. And I'm like, dude, what do you guys like? Red Flintstone here. I can't wear this shit. I'm like, okay, well, we don't know where you shop, but you can go buy them. So I would bring back like $80, like really Tripoli wide pumps. They were amazing. I did not keep them, but you know.
And then they would sexually harass us.
There was a lot of that on set. A lot.
Okay, hang on. I'm not saying that towards everybody, but to us.
Well, no, there was no harassment of other people.
Us. Yeah.
And then, do you guys remember when there was, I think it was the Good, the Bad, and the Stupid, there was like interstitial bits?
Yeah.
And it was us as old ladies with a baby stroller?
Oh, no, that was a commercial.
Oh, the commercial.
The commercial for...
Okay, so they made us older women, and they gave me a bra that had sandbags sewed into it. And so all the running, these things are like... And the wardrobe lady was like, now you know. It's cold-blooded. And there was a girl that I was so in love with in high school, like so in love with, but she was just way outside of my league. I could have never have dreamed to have aspired to have been her boyfriend. But she, I guess, decided she wanted to look me up, and it was that day when I was where her friend was working on the show, which I did not know, and she showed up on the set. I was like, oh my God, Paul! I'm like, Mom!
Let me tell you how much I know this thing. Like, you got a sword named after her, because that will take out your guts and not a punch.
Like I said, when you really fall in love, sometimes it's not so easy to wash off, is it?
No.
Wow. And if you want.
This panel is a journey. Paula showed up when you had the sandbag.
Yeah.
Wow.
It gave me the strength to keep on believing.
So she get back together with you after that?
Nope.
No.
She has a really wonderful husband and some awesome kids.
Oh, good one.
Yeah.
Yes, have you guys gotten a chance to read your characters in the comics that have been going out? And do you think they've like interpreted you guys appropriately?
I love what they did in the comics. The newest comics are great. Ryan, Kyle, all those writers, like they care about characters and continuity and giving backstories to all the different characters. I think it's amazing. I think it's great. I wish this show had that kind of writing. That's no straw on the writers because the show is what it was, right? But now
the show the comics don't have to reuse comic art from like 8 years ago in Japan.
Yeah, exactly. So and again, it's not me taking a swipe at the TV shows. It's not. The shows were for kids. And then for a long time, people were like, hey, let's make Power Rangers darker. But it's easy to make anything dark. People die, someone hates somebody dark.
Vulcan Skull are heroin dealers.
That's not right with them. So we love the comics. We love the writers on there. They're mature, but they're still appropriate for all ages for the most part. We love that.
That's pretty good. I mean, they're really well done. And there's not that constriction of all that Japanese provenance that you have to deal with. You know, they can do whatever they want, which is why we're doing now the upside down inverse grid Ranger time. Whatever it is now. No, that's a long time ago, man. So the grid was shattered and then it became like retro. There's so many. There's an upside down now, or what's it called? The Hamlet verse? The ham salad verse.
Maybe jumbled, it's a tossed up version. Yeah.
What did you guys do individually before the power?
A lot of Shakespeare. We both did so much theater.
Yeah. Tons of theater.
And I worked at Magic Mountain in the games department and got fired for playing games.
Yeah, pretty fun. We figure that
You
out.
got fired too? You got arrested?
Wow. That's not. No, I was pretty fresh out of high school, 6 months out of high school. So really, I've done a lot of theater, you know.
Jason and I were both, no shit, arrested before Power Rangers. I in Mexico, and Jason in Baton. I won't tell you what the charges were.
Because they were dropped.
No conviction!
No conviction.
badass cop who's looking through my stuff, and he's like, "You got some good shit in here." And I'm like, "Maybe." I'm like, "I will." And then I was out.
And for the record, in the suburbs, it's very easy to get arrested. So,
What's funny is that how you used to look back then. See, Skull does not fall very far from the Skull train. I mean, so Harvey used to drive a 1966, 68 Mercury Cougar with a door handle that only he could open. And it would go both sides. I was sitting there for hours like, and he would just come over and go. And he looked like James Dean, had this hair, and he always wore the leather dress. Basically, when he showed up to his first audition, he was in character already. Maybe a good thing.
yeah.
Getting the role. But you look suspicious.
I love suspicion.
Absolutely.
I mean, when we left Australia, like, wasn't, oh, where's Narvi? I'm getting frisked, you know?
Hey, cough. Well, that was a good idea on there, but since you had a cow skull in your luggage.
Okay, hang on.
Guess what? International travel? Not allowed.
Okay. I had a ram skull in my carry-on.
Did they catch one?
Didn't catch a one. I saw something suspicious. But the funny thing was, leaving Australia, I got on the plane, I'm like, where's all the opals I brought with me? Oh, they're like, well, it's pink. It's got a cow skull in it. So, take this, now it ain't an hour. That's my invitation to happen summer.
She's a lovely woman. She's been living here a long time.
She doesn't have it.
She's not Australian anymore.
No. Although when she says no, she's still here to
Nar.
We love Cat. Cat, we got to do Hamilton with us.
Yeah.
We carried her dead body across the stage.
And that was the only time I ever got to kiss a pink ranger. Since I was Fat Hamlet. Fat Hamlet.
There's an emphasis on the ham.
Well, you know, in the show Hamlet, there is one line that Claudius and Gertrude exchange about Hamlet, and she says, Hamlet is foregone all custom of exercises.
Well, and they also say they also say he's fat and scant of breath.
That's true. Yeah. So I built an entire performance around those two lines. And then I thought, let's throw some Japanese in here, do a kabuki. Yeah, a bunch of white people culturally appropriating Japan
That's another thing you can't do.
to do British.
Well, we have the best fights in Hamlet. You realize there's like a sword fight, right? Well, we have the stunt guys from Power Rangers. So we're like, why don't we just turn into a giant brawl at the end? So like we have like guy who'd be like swordsman number 3, like doing flips. Ah! Okay! Ed was in it. That's right. Lord Zed was in our production of Hamlet. He killed everyone.
Yep. And he was doing the Lord Zed walk, you know, that squatty walk that you do? But he had like weird face paint on. So funny. Any more questions, my friends?
Oh, then we did it again.
What were your favorite props? But this is the only thing I call.
Oh, that's a great question.
You know, a real prop holds something up. Okay?
But any prop can be broken. You record. You.
Yeah, you touched a lot on the extensive acting training you've done and such like. I was just curious about your thoughts on method acting has got something about notorious reputation I've played, because there's some people out there who seem to just use it as an excuse to act out and make other people like miserable. So I was wondering about your experience with method acting and what you think about the notorious reputation it's got now.
That's a great question. That's an advanced question. This is advanced acting 101. Advanced acting 201. I'm sorry, it's advanced 101. We're of two minds. Self-indulgence is self-indulgence. right? The moment what you do on a film set, no matter what you do, the moment what you do starts stepping on the feet of other people is you should stop doing that. That's unprofessional. Okay, so let's start with that. I will say this. Some of the worst, most indulgent stories I've heard about method acting are just that. They're an abuse of what the training should be. I get it. There are some actors that will do things physically that they need to be doing before they get on set. Daniel Day-Lewis playing Lincoln, speaking in a different octave than he normally speaks. He can't just be like, yeah, so I'm gonna go, oh, I gotta roll, you know, 7 years ago. He'll sound like crap. So he does need to stay in character so that he can figure out that physicality and do it appropriately on film. Those are long days. He'll stay in character to do it. If he's screwing somebody up, he should stop. But again, and I studied at the Strasberg School for a while, and he was like the father of method acting. There's all those things. Also, if it damages the actor, it's no good, okay? So, if you think of method acting as one of many tools, use it when it's the appropriate tool. And when it's not, avoid it. That's the shortest answer.
Yeah, no, the shortest answer we can give is, look, you can meditate until some kind of bridge appears, or you can just build that shit. That's my motto. Build it. Because then you don't make people wait. You don't have to, like, you know, it's not like you can't make a performance great, it sure can. But boy, it's like a 3 out of 10 success rate, in my opinion. So usually it gets indulgent very quickly. So let me guess, you're a method actor, you hate it.
No, he's finding the hatred for you. I'm sorry, say it again?
Actually, not done a lot of acting at all, certainly not done over years, but just curious about your thoughts on it.
You know what, I disagree with you. I bet that you act like you don't want to choke somebody every day. Don't we all? You're all acting basketball right now.
See how all identified with the time when you wanted to choke somebody but didn't and acted like you didn't want to? Right there.
I was just wondering, how did you decide that Hopkins Law was going to have a shtick every scene, you know, like bullies, policemen, monkeys?
Well, the bullies thing wore thin way quickly, like it does. Bullies, you know, you're not going to get much mileage out of it. It's a very one-note kind of thing. And plus, if you really think back to those early episodes, it really sexual harassment. It was bad. Like, the characters were just creepers. And once we were demonstrating the physical comedy aspect, which they already had on their minds in casting us, they said, oh yeah, we're going to change these guys to just morons. Lovable morons, you know, instead of antagonistic morons. So, yeah, it didn't take long. It was pretty quick after season 1, or even before the end of season 1. Right there.
Yeah, I'm sorry I was back to something, but if you could pick up animals along the way, what would they be?
Did you say sorry about that chimp thing? Oh, chimp thing. I thought he was making a Three Stooges reference. I'm sorry about chimp, guys.
The chef. So did I heard.
Inch by inch. Spirit animal? I would say a coyote because they're mangy and lonely and they just want to be with their pack, but they'll never will. They're like, hey!
Messed up when they did the Skull's character in the comic book by making his spirit animal, his sword animal, a parrot, which was essentially a Jewish joke. A nose joke. Not cool. But I'm okay with mine. Because I love boars, man. You know? Because they're tough as hell. Mess with the hand, get the tusks. You know what I'm saying? So I'm good with that. I'm good with a boar. Embrace your fate, I said.
Yo! Did you get somebody over there? Guy? Yo!
Do you guys have anything in mind to work on together?
You know, I mean, we're obviously we stay close, and we keep coming up with ideas that we just don't have the time to be able to bridge the miles apart that we are. You know, that's the truth of it. You know, anytime we've gotten some great idea, like, oh, I'd love to do this.
You know, I mean, Jason as a academic professional, theater professor, literature professor, his time is better spent trying to do projects that are kind of have a greater amount of gravity, such as some of the stuff that he's done recently with Johnny Bosch, and really working with a team that has a budget to do stuff. We always talk about doing little things together, but both of us individually do not have the horsepower or bandwidth. Because we work full time, you know, and we have families, you know, and we occasionally come out and, you know, tolerate each other at these events. Barely. Don't get me wrong, like we talk about it a lot, but mostly I just talk about characters that we would fit in classic literature that I would love to just do it. I would love to do theater with them. Yeah. Again, like we did before.
We've been talking about it recently. We have a late night talk about it. Yeah. 3 weeks ago. No, more than that. Oh my God. It was back when I lived in Chicago. Remember that?
That was a long time ago.
About 2 weeks ago. Yeah, we're just talking about this recently.
Yeah. There's a lot of characters out there. Like we talk about Waiting for Godot. We talk about doing Of Mice and Men again. Oh yeah. Of Mice and Men again.
Okay, you guys all know Of Mice and Men, right? Okay.
Don't. The rabbits.
So when we're doing that scene where obviously, you know, George and
What? You gonna kill me, George?
no. So we got that one because you know he tells him to look out there. Look out there across the river. It'll be beautiful. And Paulie goes.
So on closing night of the run of the show, I actually turned and looked back at him. Because the show ends with Tony with a 2x4 backstage and a blackout. Bam! Like the gunshot, but before the blackout, I looked back. We get the ultimate show because he was like this. You guys, we're going to wrap this up today. Thank you for coming to Morphicon, visiting us, and blowing off the White Dragon. So did we. Thanks for watching all these years, you guys.
We appreciate you. Tell you we are nothing.
I'm obviously waiting for Godot. I'm gonna go with you. You sure?
Back to action.